Hello, everyone, and welcome to Camping with Lenny. In this episode, how to keep bugs away when camping. This episode is brought to you by me, Camping with Lenny. Help me create great content by supporting this podcast by buying me a cup of coffee at buymeacoffee.com/campinglenny. Thanks for your support. So keeping bugs away in camping is very, very important. There's so many ways that you can keep bugs away, but you have to make sure you do it correctly, or else the bugs will just gonna come back and just gonna make your camping experience really bad. So I'm gonna tell you what I bring with me when I go camping, especially to get rid of bugs, mosquitoes, you name it, and also what I also do when I get to site before I set up everything. So let's start with what do I do when I get to site. The first thing I do is actually find out the first thing I do actually, I look at the campsite itself. I look at areas that's actually there's water in it, there's standing water in it, or if there's any puddles or anything like that. So what I'll do normally is I'll try to get rid of the puddles as much as possible. So I shovel it off, or I just try to move the water out of the way as much as possible. Also, if I'm gonna put where my tent is, where a damp ground, I try to hold out the setting of the tent until it dries enough. Because if you do show up on site that has it rained before you show up, there is a good chance that there is a standing water there, right? If it does rain before you show up, there's a good chance that there's already bugs on your camping area. So what I try to do is I try to get rid of the bugs as much as possible by disturbing them, right? The other one as well too is I actually wait until it dries up a bit, especially if it's going to be sunny later on that day after when you arrive. I usually wait until it dries up as much as possible before I actually set it up. Again, standing water is actually going to be your worst nightmare. It's going to be your enemy more than the bugs, because if you have a standing water, there's a good chance there's going to be bugs there, right? So try to get rid of standing water as much as possible. Try to wait until it dries up before you start setting up your tent. That's the only way you can actually minimize your bugs, especially you walk into your camping area. There's a couple of things that I use when I go on site. The first thing I do is well, it's more like a trick and a tip than anything else. Since I started camping many moons ago, one of my friends told me to do this, and I swear by it. It does work very, very well, and I love using it. I go get myself the original Bounce fabric softener dryer sheets. Yes, you heard that correctly. I get myself the original Bounce fabric softener dryer sheet, non Febreze version, the original one, like the original orange box. I actually grab one of those and put it in my pocket or rub my skin with it. Surprisingly, it does work, and it does repel mosquitoes from you, right? So that's the first thing I do is I put it in my pocket, one dry sheet in my pocket. I rub one, and I grab another one and rub it in my exposed skin, and especially my back of my neck. Sometimes I actually put it underneath my hat just in case. The reason why I do that is I don't know what some magical thing happens. I believe in the magic in this one. The smell of it just helps minimize the bugs trying to get to you. So it does work. I was very surprised how it works, how it actually repels it. So that's the first thing I put in my pocket. I go out, I don't use spray as much anymore since I started doing this. It does work. I mean, it minimized my usage of mosquito repellent. The other one as well too that I got last year that I was very very hesitant of getting, but I ended up getting it because it was getting great reviews. I did mention several times last year, but I ended up getting myself last year a Thermacell mosquito repellent. It uses it uses isopropane as a fuel source, and it uses pads as well to repel the mosquito itself. So it's like a deed style system. It heats up the pads, and the pads itself release some release smoke or smell or whatever. It lasts about 4 hours. It just repels the mosquitoes around you. It's roughly about according to the manufacturer, it goes it creates a 15-foot, that's 5-foot zone of protection around you where the centralizes, but it is susceptible to wind. So if the wind pushing it to one side, move the canister toward, make me sure that the mosquito repellent is going with the wind towards you, to gives you that bubble of protection. I've been using this in conjunction of the Bounce dryer sheet. Oh, by the way, I am not sponsored by this, guys. I just like their products because it works. With a combination of the Thermacell and Bounce dryer sheet, I haven't used a mosquito repellent last year. I did not buy one. I did not even use it. I do get the occasional bites, but those bites is when I go to the potable water station to get some water. That's the only time I got bitten. But in my campsite, I never got bitten at all, and it's a great combination for me. It's a great combination, and it works. I also want to mention as well too that the Bounce dryer sheets, when I finished setting up, I actually put a sheet inside the tent, couple of sheets inside the tent, and also on my chair. I also put one just put on top of whatever, or put something on top of it. One dryer sheet in the kitchen area. Again, it just minimizes the mosquito area, or the chances for the mosquito not to bite you. It just lowers it down even more. I do want to go back to Thermacell. The Thermacell itself can last about 4 hours, and in my usage, it's roughly about 4 hours. So I go through 2 pads, possibly 3 pads a day for this. The one that I got is designed for camping, so it's the one that screws into your butane or isopropane fuel system. I do have the 16-ounce one, so they're pretty big. I still have it. It's so efficient regarding using it, but it works really well. I will put the link on the Thermacell and the bios in the description, so you guys can check it out. Also the Bounce dryer sheet, so you guys have a reference what I use on that one. What I've done last year is, when I bought the product for the first time, it actually has 4 those pads thing, or they call it mats. Roughly about 4 hours each mat, so a total of 16 hours of protection. With my usage from the beginning of summer, or beginning of the camping season, all the way to October, I go through about 3 pads or mats a day. If you are planning to get one of the systems, you do need to buy extra mats or pads. They call it mats, but I'm going to keep calling them pads because I'm so used to calling it pads. You can buy a full kit with the pads, but you can still also buy a separate pads for it as well. It can get very, very expensive really fast. I got the backpack mat refillables. It comes with 40. It covers 48 hours, right? I normally buy 2 or 3. It comes with 12 mat pads. right? And those 12 pads, if I do an average of 3 a day, like throughout by the time I wake up, by the time I go to bed, um, I the replacements I do I. In other words, okay, put it this way: last year I bought bought 6 of these. Yeah, I bought 6 of the replacements, and I used it. Like as soon as I wake up in the morning, as soon as I get there, I turn it off as soon as before I go to bed, right? And it does work. It does get very, very expensive really, really fast. In Canada, I'm averaging roughly about $20 to $25 per refillable packs, right? And it is way more expensive than using bug spray, right? But it's more efficient and more it's uh in other words, it works. Like it works much, much better than a spray, in my opinion. You are paying premium for it. I am paying premium using this product to make sure that I don't get bugs. um, but here's the thing, though, like my last episode, you have to be cozy and comfortable. And having one of these, it makes life a lot easier for you camping, especially if you're planning to go for your first time or you bring someone for the first time camping. This product does help a lot. It minimizes the anxiety of I'm gonna get a bug bite, for example. This one helps. This one really does help. And yeah, the only thing that I'm not really fond about this product is using an isobutane as a heating source to heat up the pads. But last year I switched to isobutane exclusively. I don't use propane anymore, except using my buddy heater. But I just use isobutane, and I got 2 16-ounce fuel cells, fuel tanks, and I still have them. I'm still going to be using them for next year, for this coming season. Sorry, and it works. It works. It does. It packs very small. There are other products that they do sell as well. There's smaller items, smaller setup, more portable, and all that stuff. But I'm not going backcountry, so this works fine for me. Plus, again, I'm using the same fuel system for my stove as well, so I'm good, right? With that said, if you are planning to go trying to figure out how you're going to do your mosquito repellent, double check with your, find out first if you're allergic to some of the products I'm mentioning, like Bounce, Dry Sheet. If you're allergic to it, don't use it, right? If you're allergic to DEET, don't use this, right? There are other alternatives out there that you can use, but for me, this one works perfectly. I have no issues so far, except it's just the pads itself. The replacement pads are expensive. That's the only thing. For the amount of usage you're gonna be getting, it's not as long. But it's. I was hoping to last a little bit longer, but whatever. Like again, it becomes to the point that it just works for me. So I'm using it, right? There is other system that Thermacell does have, right? But some of them are like the portable ones, like I mentioned. They do have battery powered ones, as well as the rechargeable ones. But for me, having one thing that I have to charge again, it's just too much. I'd rather have a fuel system that I can use. There is rechargeable mosquito repellents that they do offer as well too, but you do have to worry about how to charge it, right? And for me, I'm good with a fuel system. It's less thing to charge. So my suggestion is this: if you're planning to get any of the repellent system that's out there, right, I definitely recommend you guys to try it out first before you go out with it, to see if you're allergic to it, or see if it's bothers you, the smell of it, or the smoke, or the stickiness of any of the products that you're looking at. Especially if you're spraying something in your skin, double check if it's tacky or anything like that. Because for me, bug spray, when you spray it on my skin, it gets sticky and tacky, and it does collect dirt, right? So just keep an eye on that, play with it, and see what you're comfortable with as well. I also want to mention as well too that before I go to bed, right, I always use baby wipes to wipe my skin out, especially before I go to bed, because if the Bounce dryer sheet does leave a little bit of residue on your skin. Same thing as the Thermacell. If the smoke is beside you, you do feel a little residue that sticks in your skin. So I normally wipe myself out before I go to bed, just to get rid of the gunkiness or the yuckiness on my skin. It just makes sleeping a lot easier. Again, this works. If you are planning to put the Thermacell in your tent, just make sure you crack one of your windows and just make sure there's cross ventilation, just to make sure that you don't create any hazardous inside your tent. Hopefully this helps you guys. It works for me. Again, you do have other products there that works for you. If you do, let me know. You can go to campingwithlenny.com. Leave your comments there at the episode 31. You can leave it there, and do want to hear from you guys. You can leave your comments there. So thank you again, and I'll leave the links of the Thermacell that I'm using and the pads that I'm using for that particular product. I'm also going to leave the link for the Bounce dryer sheet as well. Those are the one that I'm using. If you don't have Bounce dryer sheets in your neck of the woods, you can use any other dryer sheets. Just make sure that it's unscented. If you don't have a Thermacell, in your area, there's a possibility there's other products out there that is equivalent or something similar. So try it out, see if it works, and let me know. Talk to you guys later. Thanks. Thanks for listening. If you like what you're hearing, consider supporting this podcast by buying me a cup of coffee. Link in the description. You can also visit campingwithlenny.com. There you can find other episodes and links that can help you on your next camping adventures. Thanks again.